Guys, this is Philip with Thrifty's Gaming News Podcast. You know the drill. Give me just a minute or so. Let me get this thing shared out. Let me get it all put out onto the socials, as the young kids are calling it now. I think they're calling it that. Who cares? I'm old. And I will be right back, and we can get into this show. Hope everybody is having a lovely time. I hope you are all enjoying your games, whatever you are playing. I hope it is at 60 FPS, or at least trying to be there. And yeah, speaking, we'll get into that later. But I'm really flubbered tonight. Okay, so listen, here's what happened. While I'm getting this stuff shared out, y'all gotta know that this show was about to not happen. Like, I turned on my PlayStation, and I had it in rest mode this morning to try to finish uploading some things that I had captured from Final Fantasy last night, because I'm going to do a video on it, a more in-depth review of what kind of you're going to hear tonight. But like, it decided that it was going to take a crap on me and not load anything. So I was like, that's weird. So I put it into rest mode when I woke up this morning, because I noticed that my post never went through. And I go to work, come home, start it up, and I'm like, man, they're still not loaded. What the heck? So they're still not loaded, and I'm like, what's going on? Why is it acting this way? And the show, I'm telling you, almost didn't happen, because I tried to cancel all the downloads and it wouldn't work. I tried to turn off the PlayStation and it just made the little beep beep noise. Wouldn't work. I tried to hold the button down on the front for 15 seconds. Didn't work. And so finally, instead of calling tech support, because I've stayed at a Holiday Inn Express before, so I'm okay, I went ahead and just unplugged it directly from the power. And when I did, the LED lights went off, and when they did, they kind of like, I don't know, made a not a flash, but I noticed the light change from the blue to nothing. And so like, I freaked out, right? And anyways, it literally had me terrified. I counted 20 seconds, messaged the Saltiest Gaming Pod crew, and was like, I think my PlayStation just took a shit on me. And mind you, this PlayStation is 3 months old. And so I'm literally panicking. It starts back up and says rebuilding database. I was like, okay, that could be good or bad. And then it said reconfiguring something, and I was like, oh shit, I just lost everything. I'm going to have to re-sign in. It did a hard reset. I've screwed up the pooch. And oh, by the way, this was at 8:30. Mind you, the whole process took me about 10 minutes to get it back to my home screen. And it finally got back to the home screen, and it popped up the little thing that said, hey, you didn't do right. You're a dummy. You turned it off wrong. And then it's been working since. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it happened. I wasn't trying to do anything funny or strange. And so, yeah, I about had a heart attack. I told Social, when I got on here, I told him that the liquid metal must be starting to run out, because it's standing vertically. And, 3 months is about the time for that stuff to get heated up. And so, it's fun. It was great. And what's a wonderful day to be night capped off by than thinking your PlayStation just fried itself. So anyways, I said all that to say I need just a couple seconds to get this shared out. I am sorry I'm late, but we do have a pretty cool show for y'all tonight. Well, mainly Social. I'm just here to host this thing. Social's the one who's the gamer of the two. Just a sec. we are live, yes. Jesus. Dude, my day's been wonderful. I got a freaking surprise bonus check, and it's been a great day. I got a raise this last week, got a surprise bonus check today that I didn't even know I was gonna get. I got the raise and didn't know it. I thought freaking accounting made an error, and I'm just an honest guy, so I was gonna tell him. And so, yeah, it freaking sucked. But, no, I'm sorry, it didn't freaking suck. It was great. But then that happened, and it sucked. Because I was like, man, this is bullcrap. Why? And this only happens. The liquid metal, it was vertical. I have something plugged into the front USB. Like, I've plugged the camera into the back USB. Like, I've done all this shit. It's a global lawsuit. Hang on. I think I just saw Hero say he bought the entire collection of... What did you do, Hero? No, you didn't. Please tell me you didn't. Hero, you're smarter than that. Hello, hello. I accidentally bought the Starfield controller, and I don't even have an Xbox, but I have a Samsung QD OLED. Oh, hey, Social, they can't hear you. Did you turn your thing off? Oh, okay. Can y'all hear Social now? I'm gonna wait. Toolman's gonna respond, or RP is gonna respond. Maybe the settings accidentally got changed. Oh, they said you're really low. Okay. Am I about to play for the first time in 8? No, I'm not. Yeah, they said you're really low for some reason. Thank God it's your mic screwing up and not mine. Hang on. Zero gain? Listen, we're not talking about your workout plan, RP. Give me a sec. Hey, start talking, Social. Hey, as a matter of fact, Social, do your introduction. What have you been playing right now? Okay, so they can't hear you. No, they can't hear you. Uh, hey, hang on. We will breathe through this. This show is going to fucking happen. It's not going to happen. It's going to happen. Make sure I don't have you muted on accident. Hey, do you have the thing turned on where they can hear you in the chat? Like where you can allow your voice to be carried to other people? Okay. Okay, I'm still talking. Can't nobody take my pride. Can't nobody hold me down. Oh no, I've got to keep on moving. Broken glass everywhere. What? Did y'all not know I could do that? Y'all didn't. Uh-oh. I have my volume up. Uh-oh. Oh no. I can't believe I just did that. Okay. So we are going to try to get him. We're gonna go ahead and try to get this figured out. Give us just a second. We are having some issues. Bear with me. It's always the microphones. Why is it always the microphones? Why? Why is the rum always gone? Okay, include mic audio, include party audio. Okay, all that is there. Can't believe Thrifty's a Diddy fan. I don't know who this Diddy is that you talk about, but that would be Puff Daddy, sir. And that was Puff Daddy back in the day. So let's not act like Puff still wasn't good back in the day. When he was with Mace and doing all those, he was good. The fact is he started believing his own hype and then called himself P. Diddy, then just Diddy, then just D, then just whatever the heck he's calling himself now. I'm so trying to get this fixed, guys. Hang on. Hang on, let me ask my wife. Hey, Hunt, can you put your mic in, or can you pull my stream up and see if you can hear the other guy talking? Yeah. And we're going to get my wife in on this. We're going to make this show happen. Voice chat settings. Here we go. Allow voice. Hang on. We're going to wait. Okay, they keep saying that you're super low. Let me try to figure this out. Nate, yeah, go ahead. Let me see if you're my friend on here. Innate. You'll have to add me on PlayStation to do that. But yeah, you can come in real quick just to see if it's him, and then we can have you bounce out. Let me try. Oh. I don't understand this. Adjust mic level. Oh, I might have him go into his settings and adjust his mic level. Anyways, guys, so he'll be here. Give him just a minute, and we will get this show on the road. So sorry for the delay. All right. Say something.
Yeah, I'm just trying to go through all the settings, man. Everything is turned on.
Okay, that's cool. Can you go down to the mic on your home row and go down to adjust mic level and see if your mic level's low. Oh, they hear you now. Thank the Lord Jesus. Woo-hoo. Kara, can you hear him?
All right.
Okay, cool. We have confirmation from my wife, and now we can get the darn show started. Hey guys, this is actually not that bad. It's only been 12 minutes of trying to get the show started. Sweet. Okay.
Yeah, my apologies, everybody. This is my fault.
This show.
I'm keeping the show low.
Oh my God. Okay. Oh, there's a lot of autosaves on here. Which one do I pick? I guess I'll pick that one. Sure, why not? Anyways, so yes, tonight we're going to be discussing all of the things that we need to discuss in relation to gaming, with relation to the showcases, with relation to pretty much everything's been going on this week. Final Fantasy XVI demo, the 60 FPS debacle, debauchery, and all-out, flat-out bullshit that happened with Starfield on the machine that eats monsters for breakfast. I think they're confusing stuffed animals and monsters. I really do. And we're gonna get into that. We're gonna have a great time. I'm going to do a little bit of gameplay in the background. I'll try not to progress the story that much. Dude, 30 minutes on Star Wars Outlaws. I really could talk 30 minutes on that game because it looks really freaking fun. And I'm not really a Star Wars guy. But anyways, social. Now that we're here, now that we are live and in action, finally, what have you been playing, my guy?
I have been playing Diablo 4. Good to be on the show again, too. Yeah, Diablo 4 has been pretty much taking up most of my time. Level 52 right now. It's almost, I think, over 70 hours in the game. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. Diablo 4, my friend.
And what do you think of it?
Gameplay is solid. The Paragon table is really cool. I like it's more exploration in the game. It's more open. So there's a lot more freedom in this one than the previous Diablo, but yeah, overall it's a really good game. Other than the login issues on the first day, it's fine now. But it's a really good game.
Good, that's good to hear. I've heard some other people, reviewers, and even the people online, man. They have been giving it pretty mid scores, all things considered. Now, that's Metacritic, so you can kind of take Metacritic and, mix it with $5, you can have a cup of coffee. But it's just been one of those games where, review scores were, in the 90s, or the critic scores were in the 90s, and then player scores is, 5.6, 5.4. But then again, that could be just the hate that people have towards Blizzard, and, people going on there and skewing those numbers. That's why Metacritic is Metacritic. But you say you like it. I know some of the other games you play. Non-stop. So did you pull an Asmongold and you're only playing 8 hours a day?
Pretty much close. The problem is, see, I've been playing online with other friends, so they're trying to get ahead in the story where I'm further ahead, so I'm having to go back and help them get to the point where we're at. So I've got some friends of mine that never played Diablo before, so they're jumping on for the first time, and I'm having to go back and help them get their rank higher, even though I'm in a higher part of the story. So it's the loop of the game is really good. Like it's really, really good. The Paragon table too, when you have the extra skills, when you get to the end game, you can now, ride a horse. You can explore better. It's not just running around walking all the time. You can now free roam. So they added that too, which is really cool. So I've been
you can
playing
free ball
that.
in it. You can ride a horse and save a cowboy, and you can free ball, and it's great.
But the exploration is really cool in the game. It really is. It's better than 3. I think it's better than 3. So,
that's good. Well, 3 was a downgrade in my opinion from 2, and if you. They proved my point when they put 3's graphic engine in 2 and then released 2, and 2 is way better than 3. But it's because 3 looks like a children's cartoon. That's been...
They went back to their roots.
Went back to their bull. No.
No. They did. It's not the cartoony Diablo 3. I'm saying they went back to Diablo 2. Not 3. The new one. I thought you
were saying they went back to their roots on 3. I said, wait a minute.
No. Part 4.
Gotta say their roots in part 1 had half-naked succubi that you couldn't really make out anything because they were pixelated, but still.
No.
Okay, so chat, I don't know what's going on. If y'all are there, I think YouTube just did a glitch or something because everybody was gone on my screen. Anyways, hit that like button, share this out. YouTube has changed their policy, and now all I need is 500 subs, and I can do some fan funding through my live streams and things like that. So, guys, help me out, share this out. I really appreciate those of you who come, and let's get into our first... Oh, what have I been playing? I didn't even answer my own dang question. I've actually been playing Sonic Frontiers, and and I've been playing Final Fantasy XVI. I'll use Sonic Frontiers to jump us into our first topic, because I want to hit Starfield, and I want to hit it in the mouth, because half of the characters look like it's already happened to them. So, here's the deal. Okay. Sonic Frontiers, I was playing it, and my son was playing it with me. He loves Sonic. Absolutely loves it. And so, I'm getting in there, and I'm like, man, this feels like Sonic Forces, which is fine. Sonic Forces is the game that got my son interested in Sonic. So, no big deal. I'm like, this is awesome. It's just like Sonic Forces, okay. I was expecting more of an upgrade. Its pacing is weird. And then I realized that the game defaults to graphic mode at 30 FPS. And so I'm like, oh. So I switch it over to 60 FPS, and the game, I swear to God, the game feels like a different game. It is so smooth and buttery, and it's wonderful, and oh my gosh, everything looks so much better. And it was literally like I had switched to a different game completely. It's anybody who's old in the audience, it's like when you went from... Or when you had a tube TV at your house, and then you went over to one of your rich friends' house that had the plasma or the LCD screen, and you're watching ESPN on it, or you're watching your Monday Night Football game on it, and the difference is just so stark. It's kind of what it felt like. Same game on both TVs, but one looks like a completely different experience. So with that, we're going to segue into 60 frames per second from the monster-eating Powder Puff Girl machine, and it's really, really irritating, because we had What's-His-Face that came out a few weeks ago and answered the question with a yes. Are we going to get information about Starfield at 60 frames per second at the showcase? Or I'm sorry, at showcase, because they're pretentious douchebags. And dude said yes. Old PS himself said yes, and then left it alone. Then they're showing the gameplay. We get this freaking gameplay, and this gameplay looks choppy, it looks janky, it looks rough. It's not smooth, it's not buttery, it's not wonderful, it is rough. The guns still fall flat. The whole thing was rough. And all of a sudden, we still don't hear 60 frames per second anywhere. Nothing. But Phil said, then you end up, we're going to try to keep tallies of how many lies that we can spot throughout tonight's show, because there's a couple. Then we get an interview later that, like, so Todd Howard does an interview after doing a 30-minute showcase, or I'm sorry, an hour-long showcase on your game? Okay, that makes no damn sense, but cool, nothing else they do makes sense. No, why not? We're getting an answer here. And then it comes out that no. We have sandwiches, we have dingleberries, we have ho-hos, we have droplets of water, we have bags of chips, we have Pringles cans, we have Star Crunch over here, in representation of Starfield. We have the movie Field of Dreams right over here, and you can collect them all, and you can collect so many copies, and we needed the fidelity, we wanted the fidelity, and so our game runs like shit, but it looks pretty. It's a polished turd. Anybody remember when Godfall came out for the PS5? That thing looked gorgeous, but it ran like hammered dog shit. So, why? So he comes out and says they need fidelity, so they're not going to do 60 frames per second. On the Series S, it's going to run at 1440p at a locked 30. That means the gameplay we saw wasn't from the Xbox Series S. Then he says the Xbox Series X is going to run at 4K native resolution, kudos, at a locked 30, which also means the footage we saw wasn't from the Series X. And so it's very apparent to me that the Xbox camp likes to lie. They like to pull that politician crap. They're actually doing to gamers what Twitch tried to recently do to their streamers. They do this big exorbitant policy, and then after all the backlash, they take 80% of the crap out, get the 20% of the stuff they wanted passed, and then everybody's happy. They got the shit they want done, but they screwed the people over in the process anyways. It's kind of like Xbox. We're gonna get it done, but we're gonna continue to screw you over in the process, and we're gonna give you just enough, and we're gonna say we're sorry, and we're only gonna lose 2% of y'all, and then we'll say we're sorry, and we'll keep the ones that matter and move along with what we're trying to do. It's pathetic. It's really sorry. It sucks for Xbox fans, and you know what? I've talked a lot now, and I have a guest on here. Sorry, Social. Go ahead. What are your thoughts on this whole Starfield bullcrap?
Well, the reason why he confirmed 60 frames in that interview, because he didn't want people to know. They didn't want a lot of people to know that it was only 30 frames. They really wanted to know. My issue with the whole thing is that Xbox has marketed itself as the standard that'll be 60 frames up to 100 frames per second, but let's give Bethesda a pass. To me, it's you marketed the console to play 60 to 120 frames. I think that's a lot. I mean, that's obviously that's not what I can't talk. I'm sorry. That's not what's going to happen with this game on Series X. It's going to be the lock to 30, but it's not going to be smooth. And based on Bethesda's track record, they always release games in 30 frames. So I knew it was going to be 30 frames when they announced the game. I knew it was. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, this constant lying is insane to me. And it didn't look smooth at all. It looked rough. So that's my issue with it. You marketed the console to be this power, the most powerful console in the world. But then you can't get it to run 60 frames. You can tell me technically why it can't all you want, but that doesn't matter to me. It does it. I want smooth I want a smooth experience. Like, it doesn't matter what you tell me. What if it can't run at 60, but that's still doesn't. That's not an expectation of having a smooth experience in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's two different things.
Could you freaking imagine?
It's insane.
Just hear me out. Could you imagine Insomniac coming out and going, guys, hey, listen, I know you're used to 60 FPS, but we've added 2 more burrows. We've added over-water combat. We've added this, we've added that. We needed the headroom. And so because of that, it's gonna be 4K. We're gonna do ray tracing and 4K and ambient lighting and all that. But it's gonna be at 30 frames per second. In what fucking world would that fly?
And 30 frames don't equal a smooth experience. It doesn't. A 30 frames per second game does not equal a smooth. I don't care what 30 frames game. It does not. It's not a smooth experience when you play.
Ask Elden Ring.
What does it have to do with anything? Yeah. So locking it at 30 frames per second at launch is going to be, it's going to be rough. I mean, I don't know, man.
It leaves you scratching your head, right? Like, it really does.
Like, why?
It really leaves you scratching your head going, it's like, so have you seen that State Farm commercial where the dude has the fishing pole with the dollar on the end of it? And he's like, ooh, almost got you. Almost got it. Ooh, almost got it. It's like they're playing with them. It's like they're cats, and like the Xbots are little kittens, and they're like pointing a laser, and like the cat's like, ooh, I got it. Ooh, they're gonna let me get it this time. Nope, just kidding. Nope, I'm just kidding. Nope, we're gonna go ahead and move it. It's just so bad, and I don't know why. Like, that's the.
This is what I don't get too. They said it got to 60 frames at certain times, so they wanted to make it a lock 30. But why can't you limit the graph? Like, whatever you're doing, take some things away so you can get it to a 60 frames to make it a smooth experience. It doesn't have to be 4K. It can be upscaled. You know what I mean? Like, they're trying to push the game, and they know it can't run on it because it obviously can't. So limit the game down a little bit and make it 60 frames.
No. We can't do that. That's not okay. We can lower it down on the Series S, but to do that for the Series X, no, bad.
Well, it can't run the way it is now. They're having a hard time running the game the way it is now, even at 30. So it does. They would have to get a 60 frame. There's no choice.
So, like, what kind of specs do you think you'd be looking at?
I don't know, man. I know they're pushing it.
I just...
This is from the devs. I mean, this isn't from me. That's from them. So right. I don't know. That's what they're telling me.
Don't be mad at me. I didn't say it.
I'm not the dev, but that's what they're saying. So even the Digital Foundry did a thing for it. Said that, explain why technically, I didn't see the whole thing, but it's technically pushing the Series X for whatever reason. So, yeah, like I said, the 30 frames locked 30 frames, as we saw in the showcase, it's not a smooth experience. So even at a locked 30, it's still not going to be smooth anyway.
And here's the deal: if that was actually shown on a Series X, shame on them. That's all I got to say to that. Shame on them. That console it's like the car that you put a big huge engine in, but now you can't get the wheels to spin. Hang on, Ryan said Xbox are acting like 60 frames per second wasn't for 60 frames per second. No, 60 frames per second wasn't the bread on butter now. They have apparent amnesia over the 60 FPS narrative now. 30 FPS is everything. Dude! Right, okay, so yeah, we're going to hop into that now. Like, What is up with this coping mechanism crap that they have? Not, I mean, I get it. It's gonna be massive. It's gonna be a huge game. Final Fantasy XVI is coming out on 2 freaking discs. Red Dead Redemption 2 came out on 2 discs. Both of those games are gonna have a 60 FPS mode. We'll talk about the other one later, but like, those games are going to have a 60 FPS mode. Don't talk to me about how big a game is or how hard it is to run a game that has a lot of crap going on. That is the biggest load of bull crap I've ever heard. And all you're trying to sit there and say now is, oh, I still love Xbox. I still love Xbox. Phil Spencer this. Sign my butt cheeks. Like, this is all you're trying to do. You're just trying to save face when, by goodness, Gotham Knights slandered. Redfall slandered. What's the other one that came out at 30 frames? Tears of the Kingdom slammed.
Yep.
All because 30 frames per second. So don't give me the bullcrap that we can sit here and at one moment say, yeah, no, 60 frames per second is the standard. If they don't give 60, I'm done with Xbox. Oh, it's at 30? I mean, but did you see the gameplay? No. We saw like 10 minutes of gameplay out of a 1-hour freaking show. The rest of it was landing, not landing, acting like you were landing, finding a spot to land, going down, shooting some things with the No Man's Sky weapon, and like that was it. And then a bunch of people talking. No, we're not going to sit here and act like the narrative gets to change just because you want it to change. That's not how this works. So, that's my little thing on that. See, chat, y'all gonna get me riled up tonight. I hate stupidity, Social. I really do.
It is. It's if I buy a console, right, and you market it as being a standard will be 60 frames up to 120 frames. If you market that console as being that, then I have expectations. I don't care that the game technically, it has to run smooth. Like, I have expectations. This is what you marketed the console to do. So to me, you're lying. It's like, look at all the first party games for PS5. They never said we're a 60 frame, 120 frame machine. They just had the 60 frame modes in first party Sony games. Like, if I have a Series X, if I'm an Xbox fan or a owner, I expect the console to perform like they say it's going to perform. That's my expectation. So just the stupidity, like you said, it's just, if you know Bethesda, their games always release at 30 frames. So it should be not a surprise with Bethesda, or Bugthesda I like to call them, because every game is buggy. But anyway, but 30, they're buggy games. They always are. But 30 frames is normal with them. So I don't know what the expectation to have a 60 frame Starfield game. I knew it was going to be 30 frames when they announced it. That's the way Bethesda are.
But dude, did you even see, like, you talked about Bethesda. Did you see, I think it was Booty, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was Matt Booty. Yeah. So like, so my wife just heard me say it was Booty, wasn't it? And she just looks over to me like, what are y'all talking about? Don't worry, honey. One of the guys I listen to has a whole song you need to listen to about Matt Booty. It's great. And so it was, he comes out and says, as far as Bethesda games go, this one has the least amount of bugs I've seen.
The least. Not it doesn't have no bugs. It has the least amount of, see? There's Bethesda right there. It's not that it doesn't have any bugs, it just has the least. Oh, okay.
Final Fantasy's sitting out here coming out going, yeah, no, our game is done. Like, the final build of it's done. It's going to disc. It's finished. People won't need a day one patch to play it. There's nothing game breaking about anything in our game, and it's complete. And Matt Booty's over here with Starfield going, you know what? For a Bethesda product, it ain't half bad.
It doesn't have that many bugs. It has the least amount of bugs.
It doesn't have that stank
but it's
on
all
it.
Right. It's okay. It's all right. Not that it doesn't have any bugs. It has the least amount. So we're good. It's got bugs. All right.
Hey, Social, keep talking. My dogs are fighting. Go ahead and keep talking.
That's all right. It's a typical Bethesda game. All games that they release are usually buggy or they need to be patched, and they're 30 frames. Now, would I have liked this game to be 60 frames? Yes, 100%. But I don't think the Series X is capable of running this game at 60 frames.
My question is,
I don't.
does it does make it make sense?
It doesn't make sense. That's what I'm saying. They tout it as a 60, 120 frame per console.
I got 10 teraflops in my PS5. You have 12 teraflops. I'm not a big teraflop guy. Pause. But, like, if you have 2 more teraflops than I have, you should be doing better than I'm doing. That's... Oh, my God. It's so bad. And then when he said that about it doesn't have as many bugs as normal, I'm like,
I didn't know he said that. Dude. That's new to me. No, I didn't even know.
Well, that was a paraphrase, but he said as far as Bethesda games go, it has the least amount of bugs of any of their previous games.
Damn.
RP just said 3 STDs is better than 7. That's the Series S terminally delusional.
But now it's okay, right? Well, they blame Sony.
Now it's
PlayStation
fine.
Doesn't have 120 frames per second yet. They don't have it. We can do 120 frames, and come on, man.
No, because what I have are game developers that say, you know what, instead of doing 120 frames mode, which, by the way, Ratchet and Clank had that. I just want to point that out. Horizon has that. I just want to point that out. So, you know what, they can go suck on a dead dog's nose with that one. But, like, those games also have what I call VRR at 40 frames per second, usually at 1440p. Upscaled to 4K, and you can't tell a freaking difference.
I'm playing GT7 right now in 120 frames.
And is that 1440?
It's, yes, and it's glorious.
Well, see,
you can't tell the difference. You can't tell the difference between the native and VR on.
Because you
it's
get
a first
the
party
fidelity,
game. That's
and
why.
Then you get the frame rates.
Frames.
Thank you. Yeah. But like, and then Phil Spencer comes out. Now I'm going to credit Jez with this because I heard about this on his show and he brought all the receipts. So I kind of listened to his show and caught this part because I was just going to keep bashing Starfield for being a complete and utter disaster and Xbox for being fake and not true to their word and just as bad of a liar as their leader, Phil Spencer. But you know what? I have more ammo now. So Jez on his show today was pointing out that Bethesda said it was for fidelity. Digital Foundry is saying it's probably the engine. And Phil Spencer is saying it's the GPU and the Xbox Series X. Which one is it?
It's like, all of the above.
It's just everything. It's all
of the above, man. The whole thing. They can't get it to run. It doesn't GPU. See, it doesn't matter. The game cannot run in 60 frames on the Series X. It can't.
Damn.
Even if they try.
It's so bad.
Look at the Redfall disaster. How long are they going to put this 60 frame per second patch? How long is that going to take? Because they have to fix Redfall all over again. So don't expect a 60 frame patch until a year from now.
Bro, you know for a fact they're back to making some first person freaking little type of world that's fully interactive single player story mission. They're not messing with Redfall. It's done.
I wouldn't doubt it.
They got their Game Pass money. And that pisses me off to no end because that's another lie, right? And this wasn't even on the docket tonight. That's another lie. 60 frames per second. So much of a lie that you had it printed on your boxes and had to put a sticker on it that said 60 FPS coming later. And then, well, what do you mean? Well, yeah, they're working on it. Should have it out within the first 3 months. Well, you dipshit, in your interview, you said 3 months wouldn't make a difference. It sounds to me like it would make a huge difference. I mean, right? But because you wanted to release a game that, so you could hit your one game a quarter, look what we did, pin a rose on our nose. Like, you're so stupid. Delay it. Everybody's happy. The game looks jank with the graphics, but I'm sure at 60 frames per second it would have been better. And like, it's so freaking nuts that companies can get away with this and talk out of both sides of their mouth, and outside of a handful of people in the social world who call them to the carpet, everybody else is like, you know what? It's fine. It's totally fine. We're okay. It's great. We have everything. We're no big deal. It's fine. Don't look over here. Did you see the rest of the stuff we have coming? We kicked PlayStation's butt. And we're going to get into that later as well. Because, no, just because your turd didn't stink as bad doesn't mean it wasn't a turd. And, like, the whole situation is the lying for me, right? It's... And at this point, you know, I've gone through almost the 7 stages of grief with Xbox fans. Like, I went through denial, and now I think I'm at acceptance. They have kind of been in this position where a lot of gamers have felt bad for them, right? A lot of gamers have felt terrible because, you know what, they get shafted, they get abused. I did a whole Thoughts with Thrifty on the abuse of Xbox in relation to the Xbox gamer. And, like, it bothered me. And now I've come to the acceptance phase where I'm like, okay, no. These guys are just freaking stupid. These guys are willingly hanging out and saying, you know what, this is the last time. Sorry, once again, my poodle has allergies. Bear with him. This is the last time we're going to do this. This is the last time we're going to let them get away with this. And lo and behold, it's not.
I did the same thing at the showcase. I'm like, this is the last chance that they get.
So did you sell your Series X?
No, I'm saying I didn't have one. I was saying that was the last chance they get for somebody like me to say, okay, I need a Series X. Like that, this whole thing was their last chance for me. Like I'm done. Like,
I'll be honest, man. I was thinking about getting the booster box.
But after seeing the gameplay of Starfield the way it was, and then we're going to go into the showcase whenever you want to. You're going to the showcase later on. But yeah, just overall, man, just that was it for me. I was willing to give them a shot and see what they had to show for me to buy a console. But after that showcase in the Starfield, see, 30 frames locked. No, it's a pass. Like I'm not giving you a chance anymore. I gave him multiple chances. I used to have a Xbox One X. Series X was the first Xbox I didn't buy because I bought PlayStation 5. It's living up to my expectations of a console. Xbox is not. So why? I don't feel sorry for it. Why would you pay money for something that collects dust? Like the 30 frames and you don't know when games are coming. Like wait till games drop, maybe then get a Series X. But they're not going to be out for a long time. So to me, it's a waste of money right now. Why?
So with that, you kind of hit on it a bit. Let's get into the Xbox showcase. That wasn't the like order I wanted to go in tonight because I really wanted to talk about Final Fantasy, but we'll get there. Let's talk about the Xbox showcase a bit. So, for one, people need to understand that in-engine can still mean movie. Okay? Lord help. In-engine movie is still in-engine, and it's still a movie. Like
there's still cinematography.
Somehow, I'm trying to refrain from that word because I'm trying to use their talking points, and it is still a movie, and so you're still not getting gameplay, right? when you talk about video games, there are a few different things in those games, and you have to understand that some of those things are gameplay, some of those are leveling up mechanics, some of those are part of traversal. Some of it is done through movies and or cutscenes. Some of it is done through fully pre-rendered CGI. That is not in engine, and we don't really see that as much anymore. You know, that used to be something real big. I just had the experience last week with God Eater 2. That game is hot dog shit. Do not buy it. The controls are janky as hell. Do not do it to yourself. Don't look at it. I know it's only $8 at most game stores. Just let it go. You don't need to spend the money. It's a piece of junk. But we don't normally get these big, beautiful CGI infested games anymore, because most of the stuff can be ran in the engine. So we get to the Xbox showcase, and you know what? We're gonna pull a Jez. We're gonna pull the Jez here. We're gonna cuddle up by the fire, and I'm just gonna have the fire playing in the background, and we're just gonna have a good old time. Look at the boy almost getting burned. He's fine. Don't worry about him. I think he dies anyways. So.
And then in-game engine is just what the engine could do. It's showing it can be Unreal, it can be whatever the engine of that game. This is what it can do on that engine. That doesn't mean it's gameplay from the actual game itself. It's showing you what the engine can do.
Right.
So you don't even know. This whole showcase was smoke and mirrors to me, the whole thing, beginning to end.
So I watched it and I was like, oh, they're going to show gameplay of Fable already? Wow, okay. Because I saw Playground Games and I was like, oh, well, hell, that's a win for me already. And then I'm watching it and I was like, this doesn't look like Fable. This doesn't, what's going on? Why is there a dude, okay, cool. And, alright. And then I see it like he's a giant and all this other stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute. There's no gameplay? What? Gameplay. Gameplay. But it said in engine.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a fucking cinematic.
Yep.
Even the people who said, like, even the developers said it was a cinematic trailer. Like, the developer came out Monday, I believe. This is another little tidbit from Jez. Came out Monday and said, hey, this right here was a cinematic trailer. I hope you enjoyed the cinematic trailer. I love the hype that Fable's getting. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to throw a flag on the play because your dipshit Aaron Greenberg, he said that there was going to be no cinematic trailers. And he lied. That's 5 for those who are keeping count. 4. Sorry. So what was your... Okay, so the whole showcase wasn't terrible. They actually showed off some decent stuff. But what was like kind of your highlight of it? What was your highlight?
I'm going to be honest, there really wasn't much in the show that was a highlight for me. Because I didn't know what was running on Series X. Nothing was mentioned. I know they said Hellblade 2 was, but that consisted of her walking for a couple seconds, then went to a cutscene. So, Avowed, the art style of that has completely changed from what they marketed as being from before. So that looked like it took a hit for me, from what I saw. And then, what else did they have in the show? I mean, it really wasn't, it was all smoke and mirrors to me. Like, I was really wanting to see games running gameplay on Series X. That's what I was hoping to see. And we really didn't get that at all, period. So, yeah, there really wasn't that much of any highlights. I mean, I liked the Fable trailer for his cinematic in-engine. I mean, that was cool, but it wasn't gameplay. I don't know. There really wasn't much on the show, to be honest. So
Okay.
if you had a highlight, that's cool, but I didn't have any.
So
really
Star Wars Outlaws.
Another cinematic. Yeah.
I thought they showed gameplay of that.
No. They showed gameplay in the Ubisoft.
Oh,
Fast
okay.
forward.
Well,
show.
we'll talk about the other showcases here in a second. That I could have swore they showed.
Yeah.
Every show kind of ran together for me because a lot of the like the independent shows, not independent, but like the not Xbox or PlayStation or Summer Games Fest shows, all of those showed a lot of the stuff that we had already seen at the other 3 shows. So like they all kind of blended together in my brain for some reason, in my brain hole.
But it was a good game though. The walkthrough they did. They looked really good. Yeah, it does. It looks like a really good game.
So good.
But I don't know if that's going to be that way on the Series X. It wasn't running on the Series X.
It won't be.
That's what I'm saying. It was a highlight, but was it a highlight for PC or Xbox?
So
PC was a highlight.
Here's a couple things. I'm interested to see how Persona does in Game Pass. I know it's only like in Game Pass for like a short time, I think, but like I want to see how it does. I want to know kind of what's going on with it, because I would love to see if Xbox are going to support JRPGs, because they traditionally speaking they have not done well at all. So I'm interested to see how they support it. There was oh crap, what was it? The Hellblade thing I agree with. It wasn't. It was just more walking and talking. That's all it was. We haven't seen how the game is actually going to work. They showed Throne and Liberty. Throne and Liberty, I think, was one, if I'm not mistaken. 33 Immortals has a really cool premise behind it, but I don't think the Series X or S is going to be able to handle it.
As a showcase, yes, there were some highlights. As an Xbox showcase, no, because it wasn't really Xbox, because Xbox wasn't there. They didn't show anything on Xbox other than Hellblade. That was it. It's 2 seconds of her walking. But yeah, they did have highlights though. If you looked at it as a showcase, they did. They had a couple. Star Wars, like you said, Fable was good, but you know, it wasn't gameplay, but there was some highlights.
So you also mentioned Avowed. Now that's not that's not the same game I saw lots of years ago. It's
not even remotely the same at all. And now they're saying the original screenshot was from a CGI. So usually CGI, you don't see a person holding a sword in one hand and doing magic with the other. So you're comparing that, and it's nothing like the new game. So why did you market the old game that way?
Also,
usually
why
CGI
are most of their games in freaking first person? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm thinking about buying Phantom Liberty because I think Salty was telling me that it will come with a third-person view, and like the whole game will be able to be played in third person, and that might make me go back and actually play Cyberpunk. And
they're actually revamping some things too.
Yeah. That's what
the cop system and some other things too. The leveling up, the UI, or they did a bunch of changes other than just Phantom Liberty, which is cool. I'm looking forward to it also.
Yeah, and if I can play it in third person, I'll like it a lot better. I hate first person games. I hate them so bad. But like none of the stuff that they showed that had me even interested was an Xbox title. And even some of the things that they showed that were like, oh, we're not gonna show this. It's gonna be on Series X and S and on Game Pass. It's coming to the PlayStation also. Like, they just know that nobody buys games on your system, so they have to put stuff on Game Pass to get any money out of you. It's so pathetic. And then you have these freaking people on Twitter who decide to open their mouth and say things like, oh, the showcase was wonderful. It was a great showcase. It was a 10 out of 10. It was wonderful. It was amazing. It was blobbity, blobbity, blobbity gook. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was the Sony showcase with an Xbox logo. It did not do anything different than what Sony did. The only thing Sony did different is actually showed me a game that I give a crap about in Spider-Man.
Running on PS5.
Running on PS5, no less.
It said they're very clear with when they show first party.
With a suit that moves while you use it.
Not just saying in-game or in-game engine crap. Like, say running on Series X. Is that really hard to do? Well, I don't understand it.
Because let me ask you a question. Also, I just noticed another detail in Final Fantasy. If y'all look in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, it has the old school like pixelated sprites at the bottom. That's freaking awesome, and it represents your party members. That is an amazing touch to this game. But so, oh my God, you have what was I talking about? Help me, social. Where was I at?
The showcase, well, look at Forza. Look what they did on the showcase with Forza. That was PC footage too. Forza 8, when they showed that running, they verified it was PC footage. And then they showed Forza 8 on the Xbox Showcase Extended on the Series X after the showcase, and it didn't even look that good. Like, it looked worse than the last time they showed it running on the previous show.
Yeah, and okay, so that's it. Could you imagine? Just picture this in your mind. Spider-Man comes out, has a suit that's black. And it's not just the black Spider-Man suit, which is already cool in its own right. But it's the freaking suit that moves and like acts like an armor on him. And and yeah, sorry, I had to reboot, guys. That was my bad. Like, it has it on him, and it moves, and it contours, and as he moves, it flexes, and it like shifts, and all of that shown on the PS5.
Running on PS5. I gave the show crap because of the lack of first party. There should have been a lot more. But PlayStation won in my eyes because they showed it running on PS5, a next-gen game, the next Spider-Man. So
yeah.
It wasn't in-game or in-game engine. It was running on captured on PS5.
You know, let me ask you this.
So
you could take Unreal Engine 5, and people have done tons of cool crap with it. But UE5 is an engine. Okay? So when you make you can make a movie trailer using UE5. And that would technically be an in-engine movie trailer, right? Because it's in the UE5 engine. We don't know if any of this stuff is actually going to translate to anything in the game.
We don't know.
It could be one of those Bandai Namco bait and switches where the opening sequence is freaking gorgeous, and you get into the game and you're like, wait a minute, what just happened? Like, I got transported back to when games sucked and I hated them. Like, what happened? And like, one of the things that really stuck out to me was the level of the level of importance they put on in engine. Like, that was supposed to be impressive. And it worked because stupidity reigns supreme within the gaming culture. And folks were like, they showed all of that in engine, those games are going to look sweet. No.
No. You got to be really careful with the wording. In-game and engine is not running on Series X. Captured on Series X.
Dude, that's so true. If they would have said in-game footage, that's even different, because now we got a product we have.
Correct.
Even if it's just a vertical slice of the game, you now have a product. And so, like, in-game, in-engine, and gameplay are all three different terms. I need all 8 people in chat to understand that they're different terms, because going forward, it's going to be important. So, speaking of going forward, let's talk about Ubisoft Forward. I don't know. Did you see the show?
Yeah, I saw some of it. The Star Wars walkthrough, and then also the new Assassin's Creed. That looked really good to me. That looked really cool. They're coming out with Assassin's Creed VR, which is going to be cool. Yeah, the Star Wars demonstration, that was incredible, man. That Star Wars game is insane. The one that was in the Xbox showcase. The gameplay is insane.
Yeah, Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah, that was... Did you catch the show, or did you...
I did.
You did? What did you think of it? I thought it was a good show. It wasn't bad, but it was decent.
Ubisoft is scaring me right now.
Really? Wow, how so? I'm just...
Okay, so...
Even from what they showed? Really?
No. They're scaring me for a different reason. So it's like the person in your life who, like, you have to kind of break up with. Not even, like, a significant other or a spouse, but maybe just that friend that, like, just isn't good for you because they, like, keep lying, they keep cheating, they keep saying this other stuff, they keep talking out of both sides of their mouth. Everything they do is, you know, kind of predatory, kind of in the sense of, like, man, you're just manipulative. It's just icky. And, like, so you break up with them, and then, you know, you go down a few years, call it 10 years, and then they come back around and they're like, hey, so I'm actually trying to change, and I want to apologize, and hey, here's Prince of Persia as an apology. It's a really cool side-scrolling game that we're doing, in kind of hearkening back to the first Prince of Persia. Hey, you know, I know we've made some mistakes, and I know we've been a douchebag of a company for a long time, but look at this new beautiful Assassin's Creed Mirage. We're going to go back to our roots, going to go back to Baghdad. We're gonna do all that stuff again. We're gonna make it better. And I'm just really sorry. And you know what? On top of it, we've been working hard on this Star Wars Outlaws game, and we really love it if you'd look at it. And I promise we're trying to change. And like that's what it felt like. So I'm sitting here going, damn, these 3 games look fantastic. I want all of them day one. These look great. Same. And it's only $50 for Assassin's Creed Mirage. Like, dude, Ubisoft is going to reel me back in. And I don't need that in my life. Like, I just don't. And so it terrifies me because they're going to get me back in. They're going to get me back on the hook. They're going to... I swear before everything good and holy in the world of gaming, which isn't much, I swear to you, if they bring back the real world sequences like they had with Desmond, they will 100% without a doubt have me in like their back pocket. It'll be over. And if I see Desmond or hear his voice, I will literally wet myself just a bit. Like it's going to be bad. But so that's why it scares me. What do you think? Do you think we have a reason to hope, or do you think we're all just being bamboozled?
I think we have a reason to hope. So what they showed looked good in the showcase today. This is the games that I can't wait, and they haven't announced it yet. Is imagine Assassin's Creed on VR 2. I know it's only meta for an exclusivity thing, but I guarantee it's going to come to VR 2. I can't wait for that. I can't imagine playing Assassin's Creed on VR. There's hope.
Hey, Josh is coming in here.
There's hope.
Josh is coming in here throwing elbows at me. He just said Desmond's dead, like he's given me some huge revelation. Like, I know he's dead, but also, did you know that Minerva and like Juno and all them like died, and I think one has come back, or one was like trapped in something? Like, it could happen. It's a video game. It's like saying Superman died in the comics. Okay, like it's a video game. They can time travel that shit. I don't know. I don't care. Just bring back Desmond. Like, give me Desmond and give me Lucy and let me be an assassin in upstate New York. That's all I want. That's it.
But I just went to the showcase with a low expectation, and I went into watched it. I'm like, well, wow, they actually did a decent job. Like, I had a very low, wasn't really looking for much, and then they surprised me.
So Prince of
show.
Persia: Sands of Time was one of my favorite games on the PS2.
Same. It's a good game.
It was fun. And so we don't hang on. Somebody said something in chat. Oh wow, chat's busy tonight. Hey guys, my bad. They've already got me back. Once Splinter Cell drops, it's all over. That's a fact. They have been doing them with Layla. Stop it, Josh. No. They have not been doing nearly as in depth as they did with Desmond. We're not doing that. Desmond is not Layla. Layla is not Desmond. We don't need Days of Our Lives in Assassin's Creed now. What? Murdering people in upstate New York. Okay, cool. Desmond died. Layla died. They're all out of their mind with the modern day stuff. Exactly. Like, so let us find a way to reset it, time travel, I don't care, and bring me back to when Desmond told Minerva and Juno to shove it up their rectum crack and decided to just kill himself. Boo. Anyways, so...
What did you think of Prince of Persia, the new version? Since you played PS2, what did you think of the new from the showcase?
Honestly, it looks really good. Like, it looks
Same.
good.
Yeah.
Like, so I was like, oh, this is a side scroller. And then, like, the camera panned as he turned a corner. And I was like, oh, this is a side scroller with, like, extra effects. It's not just a side scroller. This has, like, a camera movement that, like, follows your character from like, a further away view. Okay, that's really freaking awesome. I loved the original Prince of Persia with the way it did all of its stuff, with the way it did the time travel, or not the time travel, but the rewind mechanic. And so, no, that's one of the things that interests me. And then Star Wars done right interests me because, you know, it's one of the franchises. I'm not just a super fan of it, but, like, it's one of those that I've watched all the movies. I watched the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian before they got rid of Gina Carano. I watched all of the Clone Wars animated. And so, like, I did that stuff. And so it's a decent IP. Don't bastardize it like they have done with Lord of the Rings. Once the children have gotten a hold of the Lord of the Rings rights, they have literally hoarded that franchise out to anybody who will pay them, and it is awful. And so it's nice to see Star Wars being done right, one by Respawn, and now what looks like it's going to be done right by Ubisoft. And so that's my thought on it. What do you think about tell me about the Assassin's Creed VR game, because they did one of those. They did Eagle Flight, didn't they, or something like that for PSVR 1?
I don't know. I remember it on PC. I had VR 2, but I had the VR before VR 1.
Okay,
like
but they did do like
vibe,
Eagle Flight or something like that, right?
Maybe.
Okay.
It sounds like they did, but I didn't get a chance to play it, so I don't know. I mean, the trailer didn't show any gameplay from the Ubisoft showcase, but I mean, just the idea of what they could do with that first-person view and actually be the assassin running through the city and all that could be incredible in VR. If they do it right, I don't know how they're going to do it, but yeah. On a Quest meta, I don't know how it's going to look. It's going to look horrible, but I think they can do something with the VR too, upgrade it and everything, in my opinion. But yeah, it looked cool. First person view, Assassin's Creed VR. It would look like a good game. Hopefully it comes to VR too. I'm not saying it is. They didn't say it was, but it probably will.
So that's another thing. What's your thought on a lot of these exclusivity things. Like, are you for exclusives? And this is kind of pulling back from the conversation a little bit, but are you like for exclusives? Are you against exclusives? Like, what's your thought?
I'm not against it if it's timed. I mean, it'll come out on my systems however long it is, it will. But when it's exclusive, where it's not timed, or it's only on that console, that's what makes that console unique. So I don't mind it. I mean, if it's timed, I mean, it'll eventually come to the system anyway. So no, the exclusivity doesn't bother me.
So
Either
with
way.
with console exclusives, I like them. I really do. And I like there's a level of consistency that comes with them. If it's a exclusive to PlayStation, I generally know what I'm going to get. I'm going to get a great game that has good fidelity, generally runs very well, good story, best-in-class cinema and voice work, voice capture, all that. It's all really well done. And so I like that. It's a comfortability for me with an exclusive.
You know what expectations you have. You know what you get. They meet your expectations. That's the difference between Sony and everybody else. Like, I expect it to be one of the story, everything about it, yeah, same thing. But that's what I expect from Sony. I don't expect anything less. And they always deliver.
Yeah, and that's the... So, let's actually, did you watch the Capcom showcase real quick?
No, I didn't watch. That's the only one I missed.
Okay,
I didn't watch
so long and the short of it, Dragon's Dogma 2 and Street Fighter 6, essentially. They are doing a Exoprimal, I believe. Not Exoprimal. Is that? Yeah, Exoprimal. It's the one that everybody thought was Dino Crisis. They're doing an Exoprimal crossover with Street Fighter, and they announced it before the game released. So, like, it sounds like they were like, hey, Exoprimal has no buzz. Street Fighter's doing super well. Let's go ahead and tell folks, hey, we're doing crossover events, guys. We're doing a crossover event. Be sure to pre-order the game.
And they're putting that in Street Fighter. How is that going to work?
I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be so bad.
It sounds like a cool idea. I like to see gameplay from when it is. But yeah, how's that going to work? That's going to be a weird combination. With dinosaurs and all that with Street Fighter. Did they show any gameplay from the show? Or was it just a cinematic?
I think it was just cinematic on Dragon's Dogma, if I'm not mistaken. But that is already more... I didn't think we were going to hear about anything from Dragon's Dogma until next year. Because last year when they did their 20th or 25th... the 10-year anniversary of Dragon's Dogma, they ended it with the Dragon's Dogma 2, logo. And that's all we got. We got a logo. And so they went from logo to having a cinematic trailer, which I think is pretty daggum good. Also, somebody in the chat just said that Dragon's Dogma 2 is going to be, it's going to be 4 times as big as the first game. So it's going to be massive. And I'm actually about to get the first game so I can play through it. But I got to get a few reviews out because, well, I am a review channel. So I need to do that. Also, guys, if you haven't hit the like button, please do. If you're not subscribed, please do. YouTube just lowered their threshold to 500 subs. So really trying to make a hard push for that. So if you could help me out, that'd be great. Share this out. And we're gonna continue. So basically that was what Capcom was. Capcom was Street Fighter 6, and that was the highlight, and then Dragon's Dogma 2. So I mean, it was bad. It was.
I didn't even play the first Dragon's Dogma. I didn't even play the first one, so I don't know. I don't even know what to expect.
For I haven't either. It's supposedly like one of the best action RPGs ever. And so my expectations are it needs to like shoot flames out its rear end and tickle my butt crack. Like it needs to do some weird stuff. Like it needs to, it needs to knock my socks off. And a lot of folks are saying so I was talking to Wooly about it, and Josh just put it in the chat that it's pretty good. Wooly said it's great. Like several people I know, Kofi said it was good. Like there's lots of people who have been like, yeah, it's great, man. Like why are you not like, I figured you already played it, da da da. But like I've said before, I was a big Square Enix snob, so back in the day, if it wasn't Square Enix, I wouldn't play it because, well, I was a snob, and I'm very, very brand loyal. So like Square Enix was my brand, and that was who I repped. But no, speaking of that showcase, did you watch any of the did you watch Summer Games Fest?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay, you did.
The one with the Jeff Keighley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your overall take on that?
It was the one game with Nicolas Cage. I forget what game he's going to be in, but that was the game itself looked okay. Was it Dead by Daylight? I think it's called, or that was okay. I did like. My highlight of the show was Mortal Kombat 1. The Mortal Kombat reveal. We're showing gameplay. That looks sick to me. I'm a Mortal Kombat mark. I'm a huge fan. So that just having where you can actually do like a Tekken tag, where you can have the Mortal Kombat original characters come in at any time and then they can go back. That was one of the highlights. What was the other highlight from that show? I think they showed the Star Wars during that one too, I believe. It was a good show. I mean, I'm trying to remember the games that were on the show, but that was a highlight for me. Mortal Kombat, when they had the world premiere.
Did you think it looked good?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. And if you go back and watch the 4K footage of it, it's much better. So go back, watch the official 4K video of it. You'll have a different opinion, because it was a bad stream for me.
It had to have been, because it looked like there were certain spots where like you could pause it and like the arms looked like they were just like straight cut lines. It was just weird looking stuff. I was like,
go
man,
back and watch.
Why do they look like G.I. Joe toys? Like what?
So go back and watch the 4K version. You have a different opinion.
Okay, so I really liked Keighley's show. I think that
it was good.
The beginning with Prince of Persia and the end with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, like
that was the other one.
It tickled all of my fancy. Like it didn't leave any square inch of my fancy untickled. It was great. And so I left that show going, damn. Okay, for one, Sony, what are we doing? You have like the best relationship of any other company with Square Enix, and you didn't get the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth?
What about having a Spider-Man 2 release date on Keighley's show, but not the PlayStation Showcase? How does that make any sense?
Holy crap,
I blew my mind. I'm like, you showing Final Fantasy and you just did the release date for Spider-Man 2, but you didn't do it in the PlayStation Showcase.
Oh. So Josh just came out and said that it might be because Square is doing their own marketing for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and not Sony.
Maybe. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah, you're
because right now it's a PlayStation exclusive only because they don't want to have to try to port it to the Xbox or the PC right now. And let's be honest, Xbox ain't never getting that shit. They don't care about it.
But you're Spider-Man 2 though.
Oh, yeah, that's Sony definitely owns the marketing rights for that game. But like, I made the point on TSGP last week that if they were using it as a marketing ploy, okay, think about it this way. You have two of the largest games that mean the most to the fan base, Final Fantasy and Spider-Man. Okay, and I know people in the chat, well, Spider-Man didn't sell that much. It doesn't sell as much as God of War. Listen, to the PlayStation fandom, and to the PlayStation like ether, Final Fantasy still means a lot to PlayStation players. It really does. Because a lot of us cut our teeth on Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 on the PS1. So, like, it has its roots. It might not sell as much as some of the other ones, but it still has its roots deep within the PlayStation systems. And so, when you have both of those shows, or both of those games being present at Summer Games Fest, I think about 5 million people watched the PlayStation show. 20 million people, day one, watched Summer Games Fest. So what better to show off your system than Final Fantasy XVI, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Spider-Man 2? Like, you just got your game in front of 20,000 eyes. So, I mean, that could be what they were doing, and they just took it on the chin for like a week. Never mind. They just took it on the chin for like a week, and now nobody really remembers the PlayStation Showcase. Let's be honest. It was that bad. Nobody really remembers it. So it's like now we're like, oh, I mean, we got Final Fantasy 16, we got Spider-Man 2, we got Marathon, we have Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Cool. Our next 12 months are slated. We're great. We're gold. This is perfect. And now we don't care anymore because they gave us what we wanted. They gave us games. And so it's disheartening to see when other studios come out and they don't give us games, right? Does that make sense? Like, we can get all of these wonderful titles from PlayStation. PlayStation makes all these deals to make sure that we get what we need as gamers, which it's games. And you have Xbox coming out and going, yeah, Starfield's coming out. It's a broken-ass mess. Then you have... what game did they announce for November? There was one they announced in November.
It was for October, you mean? Forza 8.
Okay, Forza. There we go.
Yeah.
Forza. I knew they announced one for October. Then we got you Forza, and you know that's going to be good. But that's not Horizon, so it's just going to be a racing game. So it's not going to have the open world people in there doing their stuff, spending hours and hours on end. And it still doesn't look as good as GT7. And so,
no.
Okay, cool. And then what's the rest of them? 2024, 2024, 2024, 2024. Well, shit.
There wasn't anything else.
Do we have like maybe January, early 2020? Nope, don't have early 2024. Just 2020. Oh, damn it! And they're gonna release 2 games. They're gonna go back into hibernation. It's the start of the console. It's the start of the generation all over again. We're gonna give you Starfield, a space game, and we're gonna give you Forza, a racing game. That sounds a whole lot like we're gonna give you Halo and Forza Horizon, and then we're going to go silent.
Bethesda was supposed to rise the Xbox up from the ashes. It was supposed to, this is it. It's Starfield. This is what's going to set the console apart from everybody else. This is what's going to be the best game, and then now it's a 30-frame jank, buggy mess.
Oh, what's up, Salty? I see you. I saw you. I'm sorry. What's up, man? So... I just thought of something real stupid when you said they were going to rise it from the ashes like a phoenix. My first thought was they can't. The phoenix is dominant to Clive. Like, they can't have him. They can't do it. The phoenix is dominant to Clive. Or Clive is the dominant for Phoenix. Oh, Lord help me.
We can't. That won't even help them.
They're still dead. But it's crazy because they have 30 million people right now who will literally go lay down on a train track if they said it would help save Xbox. Like what? If I had Jez's soundboard, it would be what are we doing here?
That's all I've heard for the past year. You just wait. Starfield's coming. You just wait. Here you go.
come to 2024. We'll be here to delay our games to 2025. But don't worry, at our Developer Direct, we'll drop Hi-Fi Rush 2. It's rushier now.
You know who usually fixes the Bethesda games? The person that buys the Bethesda game.
That's what they were saying. Can you imagine they're going to do a 60 FPS patch? And people, the first question, okay, so once a modder does 60 FPS on the Series X, the first question everybody's going to have is, Bethesda, do y'all suck that bad that, like, other people can fix your game from their grandmother's basement, but you can't fix your game with a team of 100 or whatever it is devs who are working on this with XDev and all these other studios coming into hell? Y'all can't do it, but Cujo living in his mom's basement with a Subway sandwich that sits on his stomach while he plays video games, he's got this Joker running at 60 FPS on your console. Like, what?
Yeah. The guy in the basement is going to come up with a 60 frame per second patch on a mod. It's the way it always goes with Bethesda games. It always happens. Every game that comes out, it's the modders that usually fix it. It's not. I'm not joking. Like, look it up. Honestly,
but remember,
every game.
Remember, this game is the least buggy Bethesda game ever.
Yeah, it does. It's not that it doesn't have bugs. It's the most least. So that's a great thing, right?
Oh my God!
It's wording, people. Wording.
It's so. I am convinced with the stupid shit that Matt Booty says, and Phil Spencer saying, what's he say? He doesn't say he says if something's coming out in the holiday or during the holiday season, he'll go, yeah, when we get to holiday 2014 or 2023, we'll be releasing this game, and it'll be for the consoles, and I can't wait to show it to you at Showcase. Like, dude, you're missing words when you talk. Like, it's like you're glitching out when you speak. Like, I will see you at the Showcase. This is coming out holiday 2024. This is coming out during the holidays 2024. Like, you're missing words when you talk, my guy. And it's pathetic. Like, it's so bad. And then Matt Moody, well, it has less bugs. That's great. That's great, Matt.
Yeah. That makes it much easier. I can't wait now.
Less bugs at 30 frames per second.
Perfect.
Woohoo! Have you seen Phil's face? I swear he had a stroke. Dude, he might have. You see Todd Howard? I think he's losing hair. Like, it's bad. Like,
if they didn't market Series X, if they didn't market it as the 60 frame, up to 120 frames, the most powerful console in the world, 12 teraflops, titty flops, whatever the fuck, it wouldn't even matter. Nobody would care if it was 30 frames. There wouldn't be as much mention of it because they didn't say the console is a 60 frame per second console. You know what I'm saying? Like, they said they marketed the console to be this way. So that they set themselves up. Like, why did you market the console that way if you know it can't? If it can't do it? So why market it that way? It's lying to the consumer.
It is.
In my opinion. It is. It legitimately is.
It absolutely is. And they can't shut up. Yeah, John just said they can't shut up. Like, they literally can't. Like, just stop talking. You're making it worse. Like, everything you say. Todd Howard opens his mouth, says, we wanted fidelity. Dipshit Phil Spencer opens his mouth and says, hey, it's because of the GPU. Matt Booty opens his mouth and says, well, or not Matt Booty, Digital Foundry opens his mouth and says, well, it's because of the engine. Which, all of y'all, shut up. Digital Foundry, stop trying to damage control Xbox. You've been doing great this past year. Just let's keep calling games straight down the middle.
You can tell me technically what's wrong with it all day long. It doesn't equal a smooth experience.
No.
I don't care what's wrong with it. It's not. It's going to still be a 30 frame per second janky game. Doesn't matter. Don't tell me why it can or why. Then don't market the console as being a 60 frame, 120 frame per second most powerful console in the fucking world. Then don't market it that way.
Oh my gosh.
But you go ahead, man.
No, you're
The
fine.
Xbox gets me pissed off because they're fucking idiots.
I am mad at the incompetence now. I'm not mad because they're abusing gamers. I'm just mad at the
Yes.
incompetence from both them and their player base. Like,
Idiocracy.
oh, that's a big word. They wouldn't be able to do that. Oh,
No.
hey, this wouldn't be a gaming news show if we didn't do a pivot. And since we're already bashing on Xbox, let's just continue. The FTC won the motion for the restraining order to block the Activision Blizzard deal.
No. I didn't know that.
And they have to wait
God.
for the preliminary hearing now before the deal can go through. And I think the preliminary hearing is on the 22nd. So the day that Final Fantasy XVI releases, we should get ruling on this. It's either June or July 22nd. But and so we will have an answer July 22nd. But Microsoft is about to have to pay that $3 billion because they're not getting the deal done in the time they said they would.
Correct. Yep.
So if it's the July date, I think if it's the June date, it'll barely match up. But
And what's that number again? 3 billion.
with a B for being told no. That'd be like my son coming in and go, Dad, can I have some more food? I made homemade pizza tonight. Dad, can I have some more pizza? No. And take $5 from him. That's he got shut down and got money taken away. That's some bullshit.
It doesn't get any better. It keeps getting better every day for them. But that's my whole opinion. If they just didn't market the console the way they marketed it as being, then I don't think as many people wouldn't talk about it as much. You know what I'm saying? PS5 didn't market their console as the most powerful 120 frame per second console in the world. We just know that the first party studios were going to maximize the PS5, and we know we're going to get what we expect. Next gen experience on a console.
Yeah, I mean,
so
yes, but let's not act like the PlayStation didn't do the same stupid marketing. I mean, because they did. I don't get 8K from my console. I don't get.
Oh, that's right, they did do that. I forgot. Yeah,
they did, and 8K, it's still on the box.
Nobody does 8K. Jesus Christ. There's no game that does on console.
No.
So why? But yeah, I didn't know. I forgot about that. You're right. It's not just Xbox. PlayStation should be mentioned too.
Yeah, and that's just all I'm saying. It needs to be one of those things that everybody kind of gets their shot in because it's a bunch of bull crap. Because we were promised these machines that were supposed to do such great things. And let's be honest, the PlayStation is doing better, but when did better become great, right? Just because Ryan Tannehill is a better quarterback than Mark Sanchez doesn't mean he's a great quarterback. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't. Or just because, Jalen Hurts can play with a wonderful line and really good receivers and great running backs and awesome head coach, that means he's just this wonderful quarterback. That's not the case. He's not necessarily better than, who the heck was anyways, he's not better than their previous starting quarterback who took him to the championship and won the Super Bowl and all that. He's just not. So I don't know. That's a football analogy. My bad, guys. I'm a huge football fan, and no football season is kind of hurting me a little bit. But so with all this talk about 60 FPS and these consoles and the things that we're trying to do with them and the things that we want to see done with them, what is your thought on you played the demo for Final Fantasy XVI, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good demo.
It is a good demo. But let's talk about your thoughts because you had some different thoughts than I did, and that's not allowed because it's my show. So what are you? I'm just totally kidding.
I'll talk to you later on.
See ya. And so, what were your thoughts on it? Like, did you have any thoughts? Did you?
Before I even say anything, let me remind, it's a demo. So a demo is not the final representation of the final build, the final game. We don't know what it's going to be until it releases. So my only negative about the game on the demo is the performance when you explore. Like in a castle area, sometimes the frames will drop. I had 30 frames and this is performance mode, 30 frames at certain times, I had 45. It fluctuates. So the performance, it's not bad. It just, performance needs to be just optimized a little bit more. And then also the motion blur. They need to turn that shit off. Have an option to turn it off, bro. The motion blur really bothered me. Other than that, the demo is good. I mean, it just needed a couple little things in the demo and it should be fine. But like I said, it's just a demo. So I heard the demo is an older build and there's a newer build out there, and that the performance issues are supposedly okay with the final build, but we won't know until the game is released. So like I said, it's just a demo, but overall it was a good demo. So if you haven't downloaded it, I suggest downloading it. It's a good demo.
Okay.
But just some minor things.
Out of the demo, what were some of the things that like had you... Was there any kind of aha moments or like, oh wow, that's really cool? Like
the cutscenes with Square Enix, they always get me, man. That beginning cutscene where you see the giant, their cutscenes are always.
Oh, I'm actually playing the game, so don't worry about spoilers. Also, it's only the first like mission, so people can chill.
Yeah, it's the very beginning when you first turn it on. You see that cutscene. Exploration, I like the UI. Yeah, I can't wait for the final release. It's going to be a good game.
Did you notice, so you brought up the UI, did you notice, like, when it happens with all the text that comes up that's not, like, hard-lined into the game, okay? So, like, the health bars don't do it, but everything else does. So, like, it changes, like the text changes color to match or to contrast whatever the background is. So you can always see the text. No matter what, you can always see it. That level of like detail to me is insane. And I'm looking at one of the actual in-game like cinematics. It's an in-game cinematic, but it's not one of their full-on cutscenes. And like the armor, the way you can see every single chain link, the way that when like right now Clive is like touching the side of his head, but like all the splatters on his face, all the definition, even on the lips where it shows like the cracks on the lips, like all of that is there. So they did a phenomenal job on making this game look wonderful. I agree, the motion blur in 30 frames per second is atrocious. And
the boss battles were more optimized to me. Like, I didn't get any frame rate drops or anything during boss battles. But during just normal exploration, that's where I got the performance drops. But during battle, it was fine. Didn't get any.
Right. So you think, and this is one of the things, and I'm not going to harp on Starfield again, but Starfield didn't show a lot of them like running. It was a lot of slow walking because when you're slow walking, the assets have plenty of time to load in. But like, that's not supposed to tax a system. Just walking around an area is not supposed to tax your system. And having a million particle effects, 2 people to 3 people fighting, doing everything at once, all of this stuff, spell casting, this and that, special effects, special abilities, keeping up with health bars, keeping up with all the bloom and burst and all that, flawless. But you try to follow your mother into the castle, and the game goes, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, it
makes no sense. I mean, you would think the battles would be the place where it would drop and not the other way around. Like, you think with everything going on in the boss battle with all the lighting and all the, like you just said, you would think the frame rate would crumble. There's a lot of shit going on in the game, and it's a beautiful game. It's stunning.
Yeah,
But I would
mean,
think it'd be the other way around, not exploration. You would think that would be perfect. Not, you know what I mean? Smoother.
yeah. So one
No
of the
drops.
other really awesome things I love is they didn't go hardcore anime hair in this one.
No. No.
Like all of the hairstyles actually look like something a normal human could do with their hair. And so I thought that was really, really awesome because, you look at Cloud Strife's hair and that's not normal human hair. You look at Squall's hair and the same thing. Titus, same thing. Like it's not anything that you could do without a gallon of gel and an iron. But like these, and then I'm watching one of the scenes right now when Phoenix comes out I guess I'm close to the end of the demo, and holy crap. God, this thing is gorgeous. Sorry. Everybody who's about to be watching it on screen, just enjoy. It's beautiful. Like the hair movements, the way that everything plays in it, if they can get the motion blur out of here or give me a way to turn it off. That's the other thing. Like this game touted accessibility. You can play the entire game with one button. You can play the entire game with one button. Oh, really cool. But why is the sword ghosting behind him in a very noticeable way while we're walking on the side of a mountain? Like it was literally the first thing I noticed was the ghosting.
That was the first thing I did. I went into options to see if there was a way to turn off motion blur. There's no option to turn it off. I'm like, what?
Right, and then depth of field. Depth of field in some spots is way too close to Clive. And so I wish that I could pull it back a bit. Like there was another game that I recently did that with. Was it Forspoken that you could change the depth of field?
Try to remember. Yeah, I believe so. I think it was Forspoken.
That was another game I did it with because it felt like it was way too close to her. Yeah. And so, what the freak? Okay, so yeah, like it's not very accessible, and they need to have. Yeah, Salty just said it. They need to have FOV sliders, like they really do. And so, I love the demo. I'm going to play it again before the release. I'm also going to do a more in-depth review of it to kind of just nitpick and highlight and do some stuff like that. But I think that Square Enix has knocked it out of the park with how many demos they've given us. Like, I'm planning on getting Live Alive because that game looks epic, and I played the demo. They've done it with Final Fantasy. They did it with Forspoken. They did it with Valkyrie Elysium, Star Ocean 6. Okay. So Josh just said that I'm confusing options as accessibility. So social, I'll let you kind of weigh in on that. Do you have a thought on that? Am I harping on options over accessibilities?
Like things for like if you're colorblind, accessibility, maybe, I don't know. Options are usually separate, not really accessibility. I don't know what you mean, but you could see it as the same, so
I mean,
is that what he means?
That's kind of, for me, it is an accessibility. It makes the game more enjoyable. It makes it more accessible and more to my liking.
It can be either
but
one.
I kind of understand that because a performance mode does the same thing for me, but I wouldn't call that an accessibility feature. So, I mean, I guess you could kind of do that. I guess that would work. I mean, yeah. Okay, you know what? Sure. They need to add some more options. Either whichever semantic we're going to go with, and I'll concede we can call it options.
They still need to do something. It doesn't matter what we say. They still need to have that option. Accessibility or option don't matter. It needs to be there. We can turn it off.
But I will say this.
It gets heavy. It's excessive.
It does. And especially if you're in fidelity mode. Like, it gets
Oof, man.
really heavy. Like, if I can get to a point where I can show it to y'all again, I will. I think I'm almost done with the demo. But the icon battles that you played at the very beginning when you're fighting against Ifrit, the battle between Garuda, or no, I'm sorry, Titan and Shiva, was it was a masterclass in what every single game company should do every time. Like, it was
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. To me, this felt like an old build demo because some of the options weren't there that you would think would be there. You would think turning the motion blur off would be there. So it felt like it was an older build, like an old demo where the options weren't there yet, and just some minor performance drops, just minor things. I think that's what it is. It'll be there on release. I think an option to turn it off.
You think so?
I think so. I think this is just an old build. The final release is going to have more options, and I think performance will be optimized. They said it's going to release day one without a patch, right? Like no patch needed, optimized as good as it can be.
No patch needed. That
Or
Not a single one.
so that tells me this is an old build. It obviously is. So
Yeah,
all the option features aren't there yet. They will
but let's
be on
let's also
release.
talk
I
about
don't know.
that, because the motion blur isn't going to stop people from buying this game. And I think the motion blur is one of those things that, like, you could look at this game and say, yes, it is 100% playable. It looks gorgeous. It's able to be ran. There's no glitches. There's nothing game breaking that's going to go on. It reminds me of, like, back in the day when we used to get these consoles, or I'm not these consoles, these games that had all this stuff in it that was there when the game released, and it was a full on game. And so, like, it feels like we're going a little bit back to that time with what Square Enix is doing in this, saying, hey, listen, it's a full game. We don't have anything else. It's done, which also affords them that everything they do is no longer a patch but an update, right? Like, they're not trying to patch the game. They're just updating it, fine-tuning just a couple little thingies. Just a couple little toggles here, a little bobble there, you know, getting it, just making it perfect. But right now, the game is fully playable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. It's playable. I mean, it's like I said, it's a demo. So there's going to be some minor things that are going to be wrong with it, but that's fine. It's a demo. It's not the final game. We'll find out when it's released, which I think, like I said, the options should be there on final release. And the performance drops that it has when you're like just normal exploring, like in a castle or some other areas, I think that'll be smoothed out for release. So again, it's just a demo. So, but it's a good demo. It's not. There's nothing game breaking. There's nothing in it that will make you not want to play it. It's a good demo. It needs just a couple things, minor things.
I'll tell you, one of the things I want, and
So
I'm a little sad that they didn't put it in here, is VRR support. I feel like that should have been in here day one.
you think that's going to be in there in the release?
No, I
Another mode?
don't. No, because they've already
Really?
said these are the
Did
these
they?
are the modes we get, and so, like,
Uh,
that's what we
oh,
get,
that's right. They did say that graphics and
and we
performance.
get what we get, and we don't throw a fit. Same thing I tell my children. But it definitely is a good demo. It definitely shows off exactly what the game can do, should do, needs to do, and how it plays. And right now, this icon battle between Phoenix and Ifrit is freaking insanity. And I know y'all can't see the colors on y'all's screen, but Lord help me, in a HDR10 4K VRR V-Sync eggs and bacon in the morning TV, it looks every bit worth $70. Speaking of $70, what are your okay? So, like, games are coming out. The Starfield whatever bullshit edition is probably going to be like $1,000 or $300 or whatever, and
Probably.
the Spider-Man games coming out is, has a deluxe thing and has a physical collector's edition. But a lot of these physical editions are not coming with the game anymore. It's coming with a digital code. So, like, what do we do? Like, what? Why?
They want to spend less money on packaging, for the game. They don't want to supply the disc. It doesn't make any sense. I'm the old school way. If I buy a physical copy of a game or a movie, I want the friggin' Blu-ray in the damn case or the game in the case. That's me. I don't. If it's gonna be a digital code, then it should be a digital game. Why bother selling a physical copy of it then? Because not getting a game without a disc is a digital version game. It's not a physical copy. So yeah, it doesn't make. I don't like it. I think it's. I'd rather buy a physical copy than a digital. That's just me.
Yeah, and that's me too. That's why I'm getting the Steelbook, because I feel like the Steelbook is really what's going to, like, I want it. I'm not even a collector, but for some reason Final Fantasy XVI has me so hyped that I'm getting the Steelbook edition because I can't help myself. But it's coming with a disc. Even the collector's editions of these are coming with a disc. So, like, is Square Enix literally the only company right now trying to hold on to the quote-unquote old ways? Like, because it seems like most of your other companies are like, nah, we ain't got to do it. We ain't got to do it. We'll be fine. It's okay. It's whatever. Who cares? Like, it's almost a disservice to people, because think about it, man. If you live in a country that doesn't have really good, like, internet or internet at all, you can't really play the game because you have to purchase the game and you have to purchase the disc to be able to play it, because you're not going to be able to download it using the code. So, like, I don't know. It seems to bother me a lot. And I keep dying to Ifrit. This is not cool.
As it should.
I don't know. It just feels like we're getting screwed as gamers. And they're just trying to milk us even more for even more money. And I don't know. I hate feeling like a cow. And I feel like sometimes they treat us like cows. Like, hey, we can just keep milking them. We can keep milking them. We can keep doing it. And then one of these days, it's going to backfire. And so I hope those days come faster than before. I hope they come quickly. And I know you can't. I know you can't change the digital trend in games. I get it. But man, I have, and I'm not going to lie, I have like 100 and something games digitally. And I have about 20 to 30 games physical copy for the PS5. But, like, it doesn't mean that I don't want that option still there. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I think they're trying to stop people from trading in games. That's the trend that they want to do. They don't want people to buy physical games, so they can't trade them in anymore. So they buy the digital copy, and they're stuck with that game. They can't trade it in.
So it's the Xbox idea.
I don't know. That's just my general idea of it all. If that makes any sense. But just why bother? We want you to buy the game. We don't want you to trade it in.
Yeah, I don't know. If that's the case, that's dirty. Like,
it is dirty, but it's shady. It's shady as hell. But if you think about it, it's a possibility. Why would you sell a physical copy of a game and not have the disc? Well, what logical reason would you have other than that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's horseshit. So, is there anything that we didn't cover tonight? We covered the Xbox.
What
debacle.
about Spider-Man 2 is going to be 30 frames per second? Did you hear that crap?
Yes.
And people were saying that?
Listen.
Because Starfield is 30 frames, so Spider-Man 2 is going to be 30 frames too. Did you not ever play an Insomniac game?
Yeah, I mean,
I've been
I
seeing that.
think.
Like,
Wait,
what are you talking about?
hang on. We have a hater. Sweet, it's my first one. Eric R68. So you've never heard of a digital console that wants a collector's edition? I don't
Hmm.
really know.
I don't have any digital consoles. Mine's always a disc drive. So I
Yeah,
don't
and
know.
I guess he's saying like people who have digital consoles but still want. Okay, I see what you're saying. So
Okay.
like
I see
you're
what he's
so
saying.
Salty has a digital PS5, and but he wants the collector's edition. It doesn't bother him because he
Right.
gets the code. Okay, cool.
I see.
So
Yeah.
could you,
Yeah.
if you have two SKUs, then could you make one SKU for those who want all digital
Deluxe.
and one SKU for those who want the physical? I mean,
That would be perfect. Yeah. Why not?
it's not
Why?
difficult.
It's not difficult. No.
And so if we're gonna sit and say that, which yeah, good point. Like that he made that point after he or before he called us morons, so that was cool. But like, good point. I like that. But yeah, like Hero said, physical is way more versatile because you can play games physically or digitally. You can play Blu-rays on it. Not everything has to go completely digital. And so, but yeah, I do get it. I see. That makes sense. But then give us two SKUs. Like, if you're going to do two SKUs, go two SKUs, like, all the way.
Not everybody wants to buy a digital console. Some people rather have the physical disc, so they buy the console with the disc drive. So not everybody wants digital consoles. I don't. I don't want a digital system. I want something a physical disc.
What if codes can be
I don't
packaged
know.
before the disc was made due to timing? I mean, maybe, but they've been doing deluxe editions and collector's editions for a long time now, and only recently have we started seeing more game companies go to no disc, just a digital code. So I mean, maybe, but at the same time, but yes, I understand that it is easier to make just one SKU than two, but they have to understand that they started this generation with two SKUs with two types of gamers in mind. So if you're going to do that, at least on your first party stuff, you need to cater to both of those gamers. Because you have gamers who are all digital, and that's fine. More power to
There's
them.
nothing wrong with it. Yeah, if that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. But I don't want to rely on the digital internet all the time. I want to have a physical copy of it.
And then Eric said that all PS5 CEs have been digital. All pack in games have been digital. Okay. Yeah, you're right, but they see it as getting the game. And yes, you are getting to play the game. You are. And I'm not going to take that away from it. It is still the game. You do get the game.
Yeah.
And, like, that's fine. I get that. But I prefer a disc. I really do. I prefer a disc. I want a disc. And that's why I got the Steelbook edition of this, because that was one of the questions I actually had to ask. Like, hey, does this Steelbook edition come with a disc? Or to get the disc, do I have to just get the standard version? And they said, no, it comes with the disc, so I ended up getting it. But, like, yeah, it's just one of those things that just makes me a little, a little woozy. Because I'm like, man, and maybe I'm old. Maybe I'm turning into the get that kid off my lawn type guy. But it feels like I'm losing some of the tenets that made gaming fun. You had a disc, it was yours, you held it. Eric just said, I agree with you, but they stopped doing that at the beginning of the generation. I know they did. I know. And all I'm saying is I wish they wouldn't have. Because I'm going to buy Spider-Man, but it's going to be the disc. I'm not going to do digital, but like, if I don't do digital, does that mean I miss out on all the upgrades? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the games that I have, the ones that I have, they all came with disc. So that's why I bought a PS5 with the disc drive because I want the physical disc. I know they've been doing it both ways, but it's like you don't know what game it's gonna. You don't know what game is gonna have no disc or not. You won't know until you actually buy it, because it doesn't tell you it doesn't have the disc. You don't know unless you get like a pre-order and you see what's going to be in the special editions, but you won't know until you buy it if it's not a special edition pre-order. But yeah, I'm the same, man. I'd rather have the disc. That's just me. I bought a disc drive PS5 for a reason. If I wanted digital, I would have bought a digital console, and I did not.
I did not. I said no.
No.
That's funny. I said no. We're not doing it. But yeah, I honestly bought it. So here's the problem. I'm only this way with my games. Most of my music is digital now, and most of my movies are digital now. So I'm only this way with video games. And I think that's because it's the medium that or the medium? Medium is that person that like tries to speak with ghosts. Medium is what I'm thinking of. It's the medium that I've chosen to consume my digital entertainment, or not digital entertainment, but my media. My entertainment comes from the PlayStation 5. And so I want to be able to collect that media, right? And digital is great, but until I start transferring over stuff to all of these other digital hard drives or digital SSDs or external SSDs, dear God, I can't talk. The external SSDs and actually holding on to them, because eventually that's what I want to do. I want to separate my games by like year or genre and have them all on like SSDs that I can pop in and pop out of my PlayStation. Because I just think that'd be cool. Because then that gives me some form of ownership that, hey, these are downloaded somewhere and somebody can't just come and take them away from me. Right? Like, if the PSN goes down, I'm only left with what I have on my console. And I can't access my other things.
Because you went digital.
Because you went...
That's why we want a physical game in the case. Because of that reason.
Right.
That's why I bought one with a disc drive.
It's just... I don't understand why this is even a problem. Like, just give us the disc. Or, like I said before, if you're going to have two SKUs, that's fine. But cater to those two SKUs. Like, the digital version of the PS5 is not selling more than the disc version. It's just not. So that means you have more people who have the disc version of your PS5, but yet you've chosen, since the beginning of the generation, to remove the disc from all your collector's stuff. That's dumb. That's just dumb. But I don't know. I might be way off base here.
Who knows?
Who knows? Trying to get in the mind of some of these corporations it's insane.
It doesn't make any sense.
It just doesn't. It's that same thing we talked about earlier. It's stupidity.
Just have two SKUs. Why not? Sell X amount of copies for one SKU and X amount of copies for the other SKU. You have two different consoles. If you want everybody to be digital, then you wouldn't be selling the one with the disc drive.
Yeah, that's true. So, I don't know if you're on the stream or not, but I'm showing off the motion blur. And so here's the motion blur. Look at Clive's sword. Look at how it's like it vibrates. It's like it has its own like tuning fork aspect. And this is at full tilt spinning around. Look at that. There is so much ghosting and artifacting on this thing that it's bothersome. And so, like, as you walk and as you run, this is what we were talking about earlier. You walk and nothing happens, right? It looks clean and crystal clear, and it looks amazing, and it looks awesome. But then once you turn the camera, everything blurs to an alarming rate. And then when you run, look at it now. Look at it when you run. It is so bad when you're running. It literally looks like crap. Now, here's the other thing. You can go in here to the settings and swap it over to frame rate and come out, and then most of the artifacting is gone. Most of the ghosting is gone. But you lose some of the clarity. And so, okay, so Josh is saying I didn't see this when I played. Maybe it's just my PlayStation. Maybe I got a weird build of the game. Games do operate differently on different PlayStations.
It's happens to me, happens to a lot of people. Again, people, it's just a demo. It's not,
I expect perfection. Damn it.
It more than likely will in the final release. If it doesn't, then we can talk about it. Then I'd be the same way. Like, what's going on, Square Enix?
I'll have you. I'll have you on the show the day it releases on the actually the day before. No, I saw it. I think it was fixed in the new build. That's what Eric R68 said. But like, yeah. Anyways, guys, we're at the 2-hour mark. Sorry again for being so freaking late. It was so bad. Y'all must have HD eyes. Bro, I wear contacts. I don't have any kind of HD in my eyeballs. But Social, where can folks find you, man?
You can find me on Twitter, social-destruct. If you want to send me a friend request, feel free, social-destruct on PSN. But yeah, that's where you can find me, mostly on Twitter.
Sweet. Thanks for coming on the show tonight, man.
Oh, I'm sorry about having my mic messed up in the beginning.
No, did you change mics? Like, what happened?
No, I had one of the settings were off in the options. Like, I had one of the chat things off, or one of the slider for whatever reason. I don't know. It's weird now.
You probably had it off one night when you were playing VR or something.
Probably.
But so, guys, I want to thank y'all for stopping by. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I am only 2 subs away from my next big milestone. We will join y'all again. Hey, Eric, I appreciate that, man. Come on here, give me shit, and then subscribe. I love it. We can always talk back and forth. No, I'm just kidding. You were calling me out, and that was good. I saw your point. Thank y'all again for stopping by. You can find me on Twitter at ThriftyPSGR. You can find me on the PlayStation Network. Is ThriftyPS_GR because Sony's name claim bullshit is ridiculous. And then you find me here on Wednesday nights, 8:45, generally speaking. or 9:10 because my PlayStation, I thought it took a crap on me, and mic issues because, you know, when the devil fell from heaven, he fell into microphone systems. And so we are going to be out, though. I appreciate it. Y'all have a wonderful night. Thank y'all again for stopping by. And as always, guys,